Anytime a road goes over or under a railway in Great Britain, you will generally find one of these. It's called a bridge strike information plate, and it tells you what to do in the event of a vehicle striking that bridge, which does happen about 5 times a day across the country on average. So that the right checks can be made to make sure that the bridge is still safe, it has a phone number, which will put you directly through to the right person at the Railway Authority. Yeah, there's no such thing as the Railway Authority, and there never has been. So why does it say that? Well, not all of them do. This one says it'll connect you to Railtrack, which is another organisation that doesn't exist, but at least in this case, it used to. For as long as I can remember, the way railways have worked in Britain is that the tracks are owned by the government through a body called Network Rail, and passenger services are run by private companies, the likes of Avanti West Coast or Virgin Trains before them. But back in the 90s, when the railways were initially privatised, they actually went a step further than that, and they privatised the tracks as well, gave them over to a private company called Railtrack. And what followed were a series of crashes and serious safety issues. So I imagine, as part of an effort to show that they were taking those concerns seriously, Railtrack went out and put up all of these signs. But then in the early 2000s, Railtrack went bust, and Britain's railway infrastructure was renationalised as Network Rail. And all of a sudden, all of these plates had the wrong name on them. But the phone number still worked, so it wasn't worth using public money to go around and replace all these plates. But obviously, anytime a new plate was installed during this era, they did use the correct new name, Network Rail. It was around the early 2010s that we started seeing this use of the term the Railway Authority, and I asked Network Rail what's up with that. And they told me a few things. First of all, the design for these plates was standardized in 2015 so that it can now be used by different railway authorities. So the railway authority that the plate refers to might not always be Network Rail, it might be Transport for London or Transport for Greater Manchester. But they also confirmed what I suspected, which was that part of the reason that they used this term is because they didn't want to go all in on Network Rail, stick it on all of the signs, and then in a few years' time find that Network Rail has been replaced by something else. Of course, we now know that that was the right choice because Network Rail is now being replaced by Great British Railways. So what these plates are really saying is, hey, future person, we don't know who runs the railways in your time, but if you call this number, you will be put through to whoever it is. Only time will tell whether Great British Railways sticks around long enough to be worth putting on these signs, but in the meantime, they're just a little piece of environmental storytelling, chronicling a time of repeated upheaval in the British railway system.